Welcome to the Operatory podcast, the podcast about burying the dinosaurs in dentistry, moving past outdated technology and procedures to find a better way. With me, as always, is my brother, David Pryor. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, Bryan. I'm doing great.
Good, because you're dancing again.
Yes.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
I'm. You know what? What's one of my favorite things to do as it relates to the Operatory podcast?
Talk about yourself.
That's a human thing. That's not just a Bryan thing. We all like to talk about myself.
Talk about technology, Bryan.
Yeah. So what about technology? What's one of my favorite things to do with technology?
Reinvent it.
Yes, and announce new stuff.
Yes.
It's really fun to talk about new stuff.
Yes,
Look, one of the I was talking about this because the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are coming out, and it's like both you and I share this, man. That new video game system, this is if you don't, whatever you're into, if you're baseball games and it's the first game or whatever, for us, it's the new video game system day. It's like opening that thing up. It's like, and that's what today is. It's new technology day and that's why we get to create it now. That's what it should have. I don't know why it took me 20 years to figure out that we should be creating technology, because I just love it so much. And opening up that new, we have our version of an Xbox Series X, of a PlayStation 5, of a first football game of the season today, my friend.
Well, let's hear it.
It is called Tooth Service.
All right.
And it has been such a joy to create, because as this sort of crazy, wacky COVID-19 situation hit, there was something that kind of thrust Opera DDS what's the catapult that flips around? Trebuchet. Yeah. It was like that. COVID-19 did that to Opera DDS. And do you remember the feature that launched us into we were on exponential growth before, but the curve took it went straight up. And what was the product that did that for Opera DDS?
That was Forms.
No, it was not. That Forms right now is what's getting this it's continue. I mean, it's almost, the curve's almost going to the left now. It's so right. It's almost going back in time and making it faster because teledentistry, right?
Yep.
And we've talked about teledentistry on this podcast before. The advantages of asynchronous teledentistry, meaning more like texting, not like FaceTime or Zoom.
Yep.
But one other technology that took off at the same time as Opera DDS because of COVID-19 was Zoom and these teleconferencing applications. And I found myself somehow being on 2 webinars a day talking about teledentistry, right? And which is great. I mean, it's obviously it's a passion of ours. We have it's a feature within Opera DDS. And when talking about as an inventor, as somebody who likes to create change, who loves creating technology, who's for a period of 2 weeks was focused exclusively talking to people about teledentistry and what's the future, right? What's the natural outcome of that? We're going to create a new teledentistry application, and I got to tell you, I'm so excited about it. What we've done is, I think we've talked on this podcast before that I don't like the designation, the differentiation that the ADA did for teledentistry. They said, what are the 2 categories of teledentistry? The billing codes are D9995 for synchronous communication and 9996 for asynchronous. Here's the problem with that, man. Okay, if we're having a video chat, and you're saying I chipped my tooth, then I say, oh, really? Which tooth? And you say it's the back molar. I go, okay, show it to me.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Right.
Shove your phone in your mouth. I mean, it's you're gonna take a picture and you're gonna send it to me asynchronously. That's why we're big fans of asynchronous teledentistry.
Yes.
So what is that? If we're doing a video chat and you show me the picture asynchronously by sending me a photo, is that synchronous or asynchronous?
Yeah, which code are you using? I don't know.
Who cares?
Yeah,
right. Is the answer.
Right.
Who really cares?
Right.
I mean, you care because you're getting because it's a code, because they put it that way and it makes no sense, but that's the way it is. And so I was in the back of my brain thinking about this, and we came up with a better solution for sure. I mean, this mousetrap it's like a trebuchet for mice. Woo! Oh my gosh, Dave is burying his head right now. He's embarrassed to be on this podcast. I have won. I've won.
It's not the
won.
first time.
Yeah.
It's not the first time I've been embarrassed to be on this podcast, and I think you know of which I speak.
Yeah. Oh, I want to hit the button.
Don't you hit that button?
So what we've done is we've merged asynchronous and synchronous teledentistry, because it really doesn't make any sense, in a way that makes both better, and it's called Tooth Service. And not only that, we've added some functionality that's going to make teledentistry the best lead generation for your office, the best way to take emergencies. Like, that's kind of what one of the main focuses of Opera DDS was triaging emergencies. But here's what it looks like. We have a widget that we call Toothy. So it's a little tooth that pops up on your website that says, if you have a dental issue, send images or videos here. There's a button that says Start Virtual Consultation. So little snippet of code goes on your website. You can embed it in a button on your website or in Toothy, which is pretty cool, because those little widgets, when you go to a website and that little thing pops up in the lower right, proven to convert sales over 30%.
Wow.
So what does that mean to a dental office? That means if there's a patient a patient that's not that's new patient, prospective new patient, goes to your website and there's a little widget that says, hey, if you have an issue, contact us here, and you can click on the button. Over 30% conversion you can expect, right, from that, because they're like, ooh, I want to see what I can do, especially if they have an issue, because they're like, oh, I can, if you as a patient have a chipped tooth and you don't have a dentist, and you Google dentist near me and you pull up two websites. One is like, oh, look at us, we do cosmetic teeth whitening, whatever, like everybody else. Another one has a little widget that pops up that says, hey, if you have an issue, let us know, and we'd love to give you an opinion.
Yep.
Right. Is there even a question what you're gonna do? Oh, well, it's no risk. I'm gonna snap a photo of my smile and see what these people say. I mean, it totally makes sense, right? If you think about it logically. So you click on that, and then it comes up and says, how can we help you? And there's 4 options. I have a dental emergency. I'd like to schedule an appointment. I'd like to improve my smile. And the 4th one is, I'd like to speak with somebody virtually. What's so cool about this is that it allows the patient to actually select whether or not they want to speak to somebody virtually. Mm-hmm. We talk about it with VR, our therapeutic virtual reality system. 80% of patients have dental anxiety, so they don't typically want to speak with somebody if they're anxious, right? Yep. So if they can do this asynchronously, they will. And so we're giving the patients the power to select. If they have to really select, I do want to speak to somebody virtually. Otherwise, they can do an asynchronous form. They can send you photos. They can send you video. You can do it the way we've been doing it for 3 years, and communicate with the patient like via text or instant messaging is kind of, but secure. Or you can have that virtual consultation. But when you have the virtual consultation, it doesn't end there. The patient can schedule a time if there's somebody not available. And then when you do have the virtual consultation, it has the patient take a selfie so you know that they are who they say they are. And then there's a chat bot that before you even have a consultation with the patient, ask them, the first question is, are you a new patient? If they say yes, they have the opportunity to fill out their new patient forms before you even talk to them. So you can actually see, before you go into you don't spend your time, like, we don't waste time,
right,
like going through that. And then of course, it's the only synchronous teledentistry application that I know of, full right back to the practice management system. So all of that documentation goes right back in. Which
is huge. You blasted past one part of what you were talking about where I don't think you gave it enough relevance.
Okay.
The fact is that when patients are reaching out to do this sort of consultation, it's always after hours.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
And typically at a pretty inconvenient time. and so the fact
every dentist right now is thinking of that one phone call they got.
No, they aren't. They're thinking of it every single time.
Yeah,
it
right.
happens all the time. And I bring this up in my presentations, and I always get that, oh, yeah. And you're able to schedule. The patient is able to schedule the time that you've pre-selected in order for them to communicate with you so that it's convenient time for both of you rather than just doing it like getting that phone call at 10 o'clock at night because that's when the patient has time to contact you or that's when it becomes suddenly relevant to them.
Yep.
So I think that scheduling piece is going to be absolutely huge.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And when you do have the consultation, if it's an existing patient, it actually pulls up their information. So like, oh my gosh, what is Jill calling about? Blink, pops up. Oh, had a crown done last week. Oh, she's probably calling about her crown, right? So you can say, oh, Jill, how's your crown doing? Without, and it shows if they have other family members' information. So you have all the information. So the other thing is that if you just take like a HIPAA compliant Zoom and have a video chat, you have no information. You're left, you're out in the weeds, right? And then you have to remember when you go back to the office to write your notes. Right. At the end of the consultation, there's a spot for you to write your chart notes that goes right back into the practice management system.
Yeah. This is going to be a phenomenal tool. I think I've been alluding to it in my demos, but I don't talk about it at all because, frankly, everybody would just stop in their tracks.
Yeah.
And so I know that this coming out is going to be a big deal. It's going to make a lot of sense for dentistry, and it's really going to help push forward the entire concept around virtual dentistry. So
yeah, and I mean, because realistically, as I've been talking about, OperaDDS's Teledentistry, our asynchronous platform that's in OperaDDS, and everybody's asking, during COVID, everybody's doing teledentistry. This isn't going away, and so in typical fashion for us. I was like, well, what is this going to look like? And that's what we built, right? And it's a true comprehensive teledentistry platform where we leverage synchronous teledentistry only when it's necessary, and then have full write back with the practice management system. Because right now, the number 2 reason why people lose malpractice claims is lack of documentation. And so having that documentation directly right in front of you before you even do the consultation, during the consultation, and then after is huge.
Yeah.
And so I'm super excited about it. It's called Tooth Service. It's OperaDDS. It's our new platform that's built. It's connected with OperaDDS, but it's separate from it, obviously, because it's a big teledentistry platform. That's kind of one of the several things that we've been up to during this crazy time.
Well, and what the interesting thing about it is it was something that you were developing in a particular direction even before COVID hit. And then once COVID hit, it really gelled things together in terms of here's what the future of dentistry is, and you were able to really expand upon the initial idea. So the AI piece of it that I really think is going to be a phenomenal tool for dentistry is going to be huge.
Yeah, we're doing a lot with AI right now, and I'm really excited about the products that we have in the pipeline. And that's, you're right. It's not. It wasn't. We had a lot of this already sort of like mapped out, but the timing wasn't right because 3 months ago people were not. They would be interested in the teledentistry platform that we have within OperaDDS, but not too many people were implementing it. Because they're like, oh, when I get time. COVID, everybody had time,
right?
And bam, it took off.
Yeah,
right?
That's for me. That's one of the really fun things about working at this company, is that I know there's so many things that are ready to trigger that it's insane. So if some opportunity presents itself, it's we've got to do this, and this is how we're going to do this in this environment, and it's fun.
This is. I mean, it's been fun to work on Tooth Service and get it going. And we've already got, there's we've already had before the product even launched, we had more people signed up to use it than we did for 5 years of Opera DDS.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So if you want to know more, go to toothservice.com or go to operadds.com. We have it available there too. Thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bryan.